Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Porter Says podcast with your host and only host Heath, of course. Thank you so much for tuning in today's episode. Well, yeah, I guess today's episode. Uh, Even though I'm filming currently at night, not at night time, but it'll be uploaded during the day, kind of in the afternoon, as it always is, usually around 4. Anyway, so in today's episode, we have not a whole lot to talk about. Got about 3 or 4 movies to talk about. I've got a couple of bits of news, and I am actually going to be reviewing the first 2 episodes of The Last of Us Season 2, as well as giving my thoughts on Season 1, even though that came out 2 years ago now, which is wild to think about. But I figured give my thoughts on both because, there's a lot to talk about with these first 2 episodes of Season 2, mainly. Yeah. Wow. But that'll be at the end. So I also would like to say that my last episode, which was the American Pie one, has been shooting up in views, which I very much appreciate. Nearly at 70, which is a lot better than some of my most other recent episodes. So I've said this a few times now, but I am very thankful for the support that I'm getting. Always appreciate it, always going to appreciate it. So let's get on with everything. I know I say it in a very strange way, but that's just me. That's just my personality. Hope you guys like the little outfit I've kind of got. I've got the Smallville look going on. I'll put up a picture in case you don't know what that means. But I'm sure a lot of you will know what the Smallville look is right now. So, films. We'll go through those first. I watched Moulin Rouge, which came back out in 2001. Nicole Kidman, Ewan McGregor, Jim Broadbent, as well as many others. John Leguizamo, I think, as well. I'd seen that when I was a kid, but I remembered nothing. So watching it for the first time in what felt like years, and it was basically a first time watch, for the first hour, I was like, It wasn't, like, terrible or anything. It just wasn't doing much for me, but I have to say that the last 30, 40 minutes, it saved it. It saved it a decent amount, and I just think that Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman were fantastic, especially Ewan McGregor. I love that guy. Brilliant actor. Obviously, most people know him for playing Obi-Wan in the Star Wars prequels and the Obi-Wan show, obviously. But he's just, I don't know, and he seems like a really genuine guy. It's a good musical as well. Like, there's a decent amount of, like, musical sequences, and they're entertaining. None of the music, like, stands out or anything. You wouldn't catch me listening to it. But I'd say if you're a musical person, give it a watch. Even if you're not, mainly just for the 2 performances and those last, like, 30 to 40 minutes. And then I rewatched one of my favorite comedy movies, Big Daddy, 1999, Adam Sandler, and Colin Dillon Sprouse, and many others. This is by far my favorite Adam Sandler movie. It is really funny. It's heartfelt. It's emotional. Adam Sandler gives a great performance. Colin Dillon Sprouse, I've been a fan of them ever since I was a kid. So I obviously grew up somewhat watching the Sweet Life shows, and they play the role really well. And considering the fact there were only 5 or 6 at the time, and it was such a big production for them in New York City. I think it was in New York. You got to give them credit for being as good as they are, especially towards the end when the emotional stuff really kicks in. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of iconic lines in that movie. Rob Schneider is really funny as like this delivery man. It's just like a really sweet movie. And it's, yeah, I think I think it is the funniest Adam Sandler movie, and I think it's his best one. Like, I love Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison and all his like other 90s stuff, but I don't know, I think something about Big Daddy just kind of works more and hits better for me. So rewatched the 2010 Karate Kid movie with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan. I remember loving this movie when it came out. I was like obsessed with it for like the entire year when it came out. And watching it, I watched it like years after it had come out. When I was like a teenager or something, and it didn't work as well for me. I just kind of feel like it's because I was also watching the original movies at the time as well. Like, I was rewatching the films just to do it, and it didn't work for me as well. But the last few times I've watched it, because I watch it like every couple of years or once a year or something, and it is a really solid movie. I think the choreography in the fight scenes is great. I think Jackie Chan carries that movie. Especially the scene where he's like smashing the car and he tells Jaden Smith's character Dre about losing his, spoiler alert for a movie that came out 10 years ago, more than that now, where he tells Dre about how he lost his wife and son in a car crash. And Jackie Chan's performance throughout the entire scene is fantastic. Jaden Smith, he's fine. There's scenes where he does a pretty good job, and then other scenes where he's just kind of whatever. I do love the finale of this movie, but nothing beats the original Karate Kid movie for me. But this one is still like a really good, fun, action-packed, well, not action-packed, but good martial arts movie. Kung Fu is pretty cool and all that. But I think on its own, the movie is pretty great. But when you compare it to the original 3, it doesn't measure up. It is much better than the next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank, which isn't hard. And then the final movie I watched. We watch this. Dad and I watch this every couple of years, and I always question it, especially at the end. I'm like, why did we watch this again? Bridge to Terabithia. I'm sure most of you have seen this movie, and just how the movie starts off as this really lighthearted, family-friendly movie, and then all of a sudden, within like seconds, it just goes to this very dramatic, emotional film with the twist, which is you got the character of Jesse, played by Josh Hutcherson, and the character of Leslie, played by Anna Sophia Robb. Her character ends up dying, which is just like a whole shock when Jesse's father says, like, your friend Leslie's dead, and you're like, I'm sorry, what? It's just the whole thing. And this is a Disney movie. It doesn't feel like one at all. It really doesn't. There are many moments throughout the film where I'm just like, how on earth is this a Disney movie? Yeah. But overall, like it really is like it is a beautiful movie. It ends on a very high, and has a very heartfelt ending. It's really cool to see like these kids have this wild imagination, and I love the line of, I think Leslie says it to Jesse or Jess. I think it says, "Close your eyes, but keep your mind wide open." So, if you haven't seen Terabithia, I'm sorry I did just spoil it, but I'm sure the majority of you have, and even if you haven't, you would probably have heard the twist. But yeah, it's a movie that really tears at the heartstrings, or the heart. Yeah, yeah. It gets you. It hits you. Alrighty then, let's get on with the film news, because it's not much. So I'll just go through it very, very briefly. We got a brand new trailer for 28 Years Later, which is like, I think it's the third movie in this little series, and there's two more planned, so it tells me that they have a lot of confidence for this one. It does look like a pretty good movie, but I don't think I have much of an interest of seeing it. I've seen the original 28 Days Later. I think that came out in the early 2000s or something. It was good, but I haven't felt the urge to go back to it. And I've never seen 28 Weeks Later. I wasn't intrigued enough to see where the story would go. But I'm sure for the people who are excited for this and love the other two movies and enjoy them, then I'm sure it'll be for you. Just not for me personally. First trailer, or first official trailer, because we had a teaser for Megan 2.0. This trailer takes a whole new direction with this one. It's not really a horror per se. It's kind of gone from the somewhat horror genre to an action movie with Megan fighting this other robot. I'm down. I'm pretty excited because I really enjoyed the first movie for what it was, and I think this one might be better, because I think the first movie could have worked better as an action film as well. I know it was cut down in terms of, originally it was more gory and it was going to be R-rated, but then they had to cut it down to PG-13, and then they released another cut of the movie where there was a bit more blood, but it didn't change much of anything. So I personally think that both movies could have worked, or the first movie could have worked as more of an action sci-fi kind of thing, which is what this new one is going for. So I'm pretty excited. I'll be there, not day one, but I'll be there for sure. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, another trailer for this one. I really like the Mission Impossible series. The only one I don't like that much, or really at all, is Mission Impossible 2. I think that one is ridiculous. Too ridiculous, to the point where it's like it doesn't even feel like it's part of this series, because it's such a different tone than the first one was, and the character of Ethan Hunt doesn't even feel like his character. He's some random guy. I don't know, it just didn't work for me. There's some fun action sequences, but I don't know. But I really like the first one. I like 3. I love 4. I love 5, and I love 6. And I really like the last one. So I'm very, very excited to see if this is the final one in this series, and I really hope it goes out on a high note and they don't screw it up. Pretty crazy considering the fact that the first one hasn't really even come out, but we're getting, it's already been confirmed that they're doing How to Train Your Dragon 2 in live action. That's set for a 2027 release date. I mean, there's been early reactions to the first movie, so I don't know, but that's crazy. That's good, which means this new new one coming out. You know, our first live action How to Train Your Dragon. Okay, I'm down. Let's go. I mean, we're gonna have to see the death of Stoic in live action, and that was hard enough to watch in animation. So I don't think I want to see it in live action. Although they have a possible chance to ruin it, and it might not be as powerful, but only time will tell. Okay, so that's everything. Let's talk about a bit of TV, one thing. The Last of Us. I'll say it right now. I actually haven't played any of the games, but I've seen gameplay of both, and I know the story somewhat, so I knew where certain things were going, but especially for Season 2, I don't know where a lot of these next few episodes are going to go. But I knew what was going to happen in Episode 2. I saw that coming. So I'll give my thoughts on the first season, very briefly. I don't want to talk about it too much, considering the fact it's 2 years old. But in short, I loved it. I think Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey are fantastic in their roles. It's very suspenseful. It's intense. A lot of fun action. Cool creature designs, with the infected. Very well done. And also, on a side note, to the people who keep constantly picking on Bella Ramsey and saying that, like, she doesn't look like her video game counterpart, who cares? As long as she gives a good performance, and they're fantastic. Bella Ramsey is so good in this role. So I don't get it. To the people who keep doing it, go screw yourselves. Like, seriously, it's so stupid. So dumb. I hate the internet sometimes, man. I could do a whole video on that. Okay. But yeah, no. Overall, I love the first season of Last of Us. So I was very, very excited for Season 2. I enjoyed the first episode. It was a very slow, kind of slow building and moving episode, which is fair enough. Like, it's been 2 years since the first season, so it's getting back into the swing of things, and it's a time jump, so it's 5 years later after the first season. Everybody's in the town or community of Jackson. You could tell there was a somewhat falling out between Ellie and Joel. You got Dina in here, played by Isabella Merced. Pretty excited to see a lot more of the story of her and Ellie continue throughout. So yeah, the first episode was solid. There was a couple of good, intense moments, especially the one with the stalker and Ellie in the little shop area, I think it was. Very good scene, great scene, good camera work in that one. So it was solid. Got the introduction of the character of Abby, which, oh boy, okay. And then episode 2 came along, and obviously for the majority of people who'd played the game, knew what was coming. It was the only thing that I knew was coming from the video game, but again, I don't know what else is going to happen. I think, yeah, I don't know. But I knew this was coming, and spoiler alert, spoiler, Abby killing Joel. For Joel, because he killed all the Fireflies back in the first season, and he shot a doctor who turns out to be Abby's father. So obviously she was very pissed off about that, which is fair enough. Like, you know, you got to try and sympathize with her a little bit, but at the same time, not really, because that scene was done so well, and it was brutal. Even though a bit of it was off screen, it still felt very much like when I was watching, I was like, I know it's coming. I was like, still like, no, you know, like, and the performance by Bella Ramsey in that scene when Ellie shows up and attempts to take him down, but she's thrown on the ground, she's struggling, she's telling Joel to get up, and he's pummeled on the ground because Abby's just been punching into him. And I love the scene where the bit where she goes to grab the golf club, because that's one of the big moments. And she goes, "Oh, I've been waiting my whole life or whole whatever moment to do this." And the line that Pedro Pascal as Joel gives, he's like, "Oh, just shut up and get to it already," or something like that, or and get on with it. It's like, it's a badass line, but it's like, oh, you've pissed her off now. And she goes, "You stupid man, old man, you don't get to rush this," and just goes into his leg, because she shoots him on the leg with the shotgun, and he goes onto the ground. But yeah, to get to the later in the scene, Ellie's on the ground crying, "Joel, get up!" And you can see very good camera work here, where you can see he wants to get up, he's trying, because he's got that last bit of life in him. Joel's death in The Last of Us, my god. So yeah, Abby goes over, grabs the golf club that's broken now, finishes it off, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie. After that, I did tear up a bit. I did. It again, a lot of people knew it was coming, but it was still done so well, and the way the episode ends with like Dina and Ellie and them coming back on the horse, and they're dragging Joel's body in a bag. And obviously there was another big moment in that where this herd of infected just destroyed, pretty much took out a lot of the town of Jackson. That scene was great. Very well done. So intense. That moment when those dogs get released, so cool. But yeah, man, that scene specifically got me. I remember just the whole episode, I was waiting for it, and when it got to it, I'm like, oh no. And the pacing of it was great too. But yeah, overall, man, like, I'd say the first episode was pretty good and a bit slow, but that's fair enough, getting us back into it. Episode 2, I thought about it overnight, and I thought about it all of today, and I gotta say, it was probably one of my favorite episodes of television. It was fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. I can't wait for the rest of this story and where this season and the next few episodes are going to go. I can't wait to see some more confrontations between Ellie and Abby. It's just, let's get to it, please. So yeah, guys, that's going to conclude this episode of the Porter Says podcast with your host and only host, Heath. Thank you so much for tuning in to this one, as I said. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed my ramblings and my review of The Last of Us and all the news and a bit of TV, a bit of a TV show review. So let me know down below your thoughts on everything. If you've seen The Last of Us, and what do you think? What did you think about that scene? The scene with Joel and Abby and Ellie. Yeah. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week. And for my fellow Aussies out there, happy Anzac Day. That's on Friday, and that's when this will go up. So kind of perfect timing how the last one was the last episode was uploaded on Easter Friday, and now this one's going to be uploaded on Anzac Day. So I'll see you guys next time. Take care.